Jerky. One Step Jerky marinade in the One Step Cooking Products brand. And we have made, I don't know how many pounds of deer meat and marinated I don't know how many pounds of beef this year while we were testing the formula, making sure everything was the way it needs to be, making sure the ingredients were right, making sure we could tell you how much one bottle would do, how much the big bottle would do. And it's been a 6-month long ordeal. And one of the things that we've been doing recently is we've been experimenting with the marinade on stuff besides deer and beef. The boys did some deer or some duck meat the other day, and I'm not a big duck, dove, dark meat kind of person, but it wasn't too bad. I'll have to admit, we marinated it and cut the breast up into strips, marinated it for around 24 hours, put it in the dehydrator, and bingo, it was edible. And I'm not a big duck or goose jerky person, but the marinade did a great job. Come over here, and let them look at what we're doing here. This was the first time that we have ever tried to do wild hog jerky with the One Step marinade. And I had no idea how this was going to turn out, but you know, hog has got a lot of, it's got a lot more moisture in it. It's got a lot more fat in the meat. Even wild hog isn't near as lean as whitetail. So I'm going to experiment with this, but we've had a little bit of this. I've got it marinating here. It's been marinating in this bowl for around 18 hours. And I let it marinate for around 12 hours. And I put it on the dehydrator and I ran one little sheet. And it is unbelievably good. This might be better than beef. And it might be better than deer. And I know you think, oh my God, you're nuts. But I tell you what, this is amazingly good. Now, I'm not sure what it's going to have to look like to be completely finished. You know, what we try to do with our jerky and One Step Jerky marinade is not cook this stuff to the point that it just cracks and crumbles. So this might not end up, since the meat is not as dark as deer to begin with, I'm going to have to figure out exactly where this texture is, and to me we're getting really close. I don't like to have it to where it's just like a saltine cracker where it just breaks all into pieces. We like to marinate the meat and let it soak for around 12. What are you laughing at?
Saltine cracker.
Like a saltine cracker, huh? So anyway, this might be getting pretty close. I kind of like to see it get dark brown, and I like to see it crack. But this has still got some texture. It still holds together, and it's still going to be good and chewy. It's not going to be ridiculously crispy. Now that one's getting dark, and that one's getting pretty crispy. So I've got to look and see if this truly is, if this is done, if it's just different color, because the meat is a different color to begin with. But man, if you've ever killed a wild hog and you're looking for something to do with it, and you've got a dehydrator, and you have access to this One Step Jerky marinade, holy moly. Well, I'm going to show you how we load our trays and get this jerky in here, get off the live feed. But I wanted to share this with you because it was a new experiment for us. We'd never done wild hog jerky before, and it is fantastic. So one of the tips I got for you when you're doing this is you always want to make sure that you lay your jerky out flat. Take the time to lay the jerky meat, whatever it is, make sure it's unfolded, because you're going to want to get as much of that air all around that meat as possible. Some of these are really thick, and my processor did this for me. Gene down at Littlefields. A lot of you guys that are watching this have no idea who that is, but right down the road from us, we've got a little processing plant. Gene down there, he processes the majority of my deer. And whatever whatever wild game you have, if you'll go to your processor and say, hey, would you please cut as much as you can into jerky meat, and then grind the rest up into hamburger or summer sausage or whatever you want to do. What they'll do is they'll usually put it in 2-pound packages. They'll cut these, cut it up for you. I cut it into smaller strips, but they'll slice it for you. And boy, you talk about saving a ton of time if you will just let them slice the meat for you, and then you can cut it into strips however big you want. You can't believe how much time that'll save you. So I'm going to drop this in the dehydrator. This is an Excalibur dehydrator, and I'm going to cook that on 160 degrees for 5 to 6 hours. And that's really about it. Whether you got a little Nesco dehydrator or you do it in the oven, you just take the time to make sure that you don't overcook your jerky. But this is not a jerky cure. It doesn't have a whole lot of salt in it. It's got a whole lot of flavor. And I don't recommend treating your jerky like you do with a jerky cure. That's not what a marinade is. This product soaks into the meat really, really quickly, and it gives it a tremendous amount of flavor. But if you're going to leave it out much time at all, or keep it out in the heat or whatever, I would recommend storing the jerky that you cook in the freezer and take out what you want when you want to eat it. But with these two munchkins I got around here, Owen there, he can just about eat his leg or his weight in jerky every day, I think. How was that hog jerky, Owen?
That was pretty good.
It was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the live feed. I can't wait to keep using this feature. Thanks, Rusty Pritchard, for showing this to me. And I tell you what, I'm looking forward to this. We're going to do a lot with the Facebook live feed and all the friends and all the business pages we have. Let's put some more jerky on here.